Good afternoon, children. Today we are going to begin a new lesson number 16, chapter 16, page 148. A Cry Against Exploitation, which is not the story but an essay on Kailash Satyarthi, who is a social reformer. Now, as we know, social workers or social reformers, now there are many types. We'll be talking about this later in the presentation, but right now let's begin straight away from page 148. A cry against exploitation. A cry meaning a protest against exploitation, that is unfair treatment. So this is the story, or this is the lesson that we have. It's about a social reformer or a social worker named Kailash Satyarthi, who is from Madhya Pradesh, who's born and bred in Vidisha, a small town in Madhya Pradesh, and he works against child exploitation. So we'll come to know about that, but before that, we have here the literary appreciation. An essay can be of the following types. So there are so many types of essays: descriptive essay, narrative essay, argumentative or persuasive essay. Now, here what the writer or wants to tell us is that this is an essay also where we have the life story of Kailash Satyarthi, which we are going to read because it's very motivational and it motivates us to work for our country, especially for children who are exploited in many forms. Exploitation can be of many forms. So here we'll come to know what's happening. Now, in the warm-up section, we have something about social work. So what is social work? And then social work concerns itself with individuals, families, groups and communities trying to enhance social functioning and overall well-being. So you can see here the picture of Kailash Satyarthi, who is an anti-child slavery activist. So he is a social activist and reformer. And then the movement that he started was one of the movement that he started was Bachpan Bachao Andolan. This is for anti-child slavery, etc. Now, so here's a quote by Mehmet Murat Eldan. A society that has poor people on its streets is a failed society. So we must all work together to see that there are not even a single child in the streets of our country who are poor and going on rag picking or selling small meager things at crossroads or running after vehicles to sell their wares, etc. So children should be sent to school to study and then have better lives. Now, a cry against exploitation. So we have gone through the literary appreciation, we have gone through the warm-up section. So let's move on. Now these are the prominent social workers. Of course, Mother Teresa, who doesn't know her? Now she's no more, but still her group is carrying on the legacy, and they are just seeing that no one in Calcutta and other parts of the country and the world are left in the streets or sleeps hungry. So here's Kailash Satyarthi, and this picture is from the Nobel Prize winning day when he went to receive his Nobel Prize along with Malala Yousafzai. So these are two social workers. Now, types of social workers. So there could be child, family and school social workers, Then next is community social workers, and then next is criminal justice social worker. Then you have social workers who are really you know they are important because they go through the population boom and all that, and they deal with people, making them more, assisting them in nursing homes and social in other places, and seeing that the quality of life they lead are better. So there are international social workers who work around the world to address social injustice and violations of civil liberties or human rights. Then healthcare social workers are there. Then we have mental health and substance abuse, that is use of drugs and all. So workers who work among drug addicts and all. Then military social workers, those who ensure that the military, ex-militaries are served properly, the veterans and the families are looked after. So these are the various kinds of social workers. Now here's we have the cross curricular connection, where we have the different, some civilian awards are given for the exemplary work done by individuals in their respective fields. So in India we have the highest civilian awards is the Bharat Ratna, and then we have 4 awards: Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Shri. So I'm sharing a video with you for this, where you can see the different kinds of the highest civilian awards in India, and what are the criterias for receiving them. So I'll be sharing this in your class portals, so you can go through that also in order to understand it. But we have it here also. You can see the highest civilian award in India: Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and then Padma Shri. So you can see the Bharat Ratna here. This is the Padma Bhushan, and here you have the Padma Vibhushan and Padma Bhushan here. Then you have Padma Shri here, and of course this is freedom is not negotiable. So we come to the first page then. Let us read a story about a brave man and his fight against the vices of the society. So we are going to read about this brave man who fought all odds, and he was even beaten on several occasions because he was doing good things for the society. But some people didn't want to see that happening. So he is the one fighting against the vices of the society. What are vices? Vices are unjust practices or evils of the society, bad practices of the society. While childhood is synonymous with playful pranks for many of us, there are just as many for whom childhood is an indelible scar they carry with them for the rest of their lives. So, the first sentence itself tells us about childhood should be a time, the best or the most golden period in the life of a person. So, childhood is synonymous or is same with playful pranks, that is mischiefs. So when we think of children, we think of mischiefs as well. For many of us, there are just as many whom childhood is an indelible scar. But there are children whose childhood are not so good, and they are not never been in an advantage place, and therefore their childhood have left in their minds a scar, that is a stain, and they cannot erase that scar from their mind or that incident from their mind. It's an indelible scar, meaning indelible means something that is permanently there, cannot be removed, cannot be erased. So they carry with them for the rest of their lives, and they remember these incidents that has happened to them, and they remember for the rest of their life uneasily. Now, child slavery refers to enslavement of children below the age of 18 for profit. Child slavery, people forcibly take away children, or they steal children and take them away. That also happens. And otherwise also they forcibly take children and make them work. So a child, according to the Constitution of India, is 18 and below. So 18 and above are adults. So often through violence. So what do? These children are put in, taken by violence. So violence here is physical force, and then abuse. Abuse means unfair treatment with them, and threats. They are given threats. Otherwise, if they do not accept the terms, then they'll be killed, or these kinds of threatening are given to them. So in flesh trade means what? Prostitution. So some young girls are taken away for prostitutions also. So their life finishes off after that. They are forced to begging. They are forcibly asked to beg on the streets, at crossroads, and you can see them coming in when the vehicle stops, or there is the crossing. So where the vehicle stop, these people are there, these children are there, you can see them. Petty crimes and the drug trade. So petty means small crimes. So chain snatching and all, pickpocketing, these are petty crimes. And the drug trade. So drug means use of drugs. So drug abuse, taking drugs unfairly. So enslaved children are forced to work as bonded labor in agriculture, factories. These are the places where they are used. Construction work, cleans are where bricks are made. So baked and made. So mines, these are places which are really very dangerous for children to work in, but they are put into those. Then bars where they serve wine and other beverages to the guests, and they also start drinking. So the tourist industry and domestic work, so they are put in all kinds of things. And poor children, they don't study, and they are put into all these and exploited. This not only deprives them of their childhood, but also interferes with their ability to attend regular school. So what happened? This deprives them, this makes them disadvantageous, and they suffer lack of being given proper material and benefits in life. So they miss out all the fun of being a child, and they are unable to attend regular school, and is mentally, physically, socially, and morally harmful. So by all means, it is very, very harmful for their lives. Even though such exploitation is prohibited by legislation worldwide, child slavery have been prevalent in the world. So almost all countries have made legislations, rules against child slavery. But it still is prevalent. Prevalent means it still goes on, continues, exists, and is rampant among the many of the countries. So it still goes on. So let's see the next line. Let us read the story of a man who believes that freedom is non-negotiable and is on a Herculean mission to help children in need. Now, so we are going to read about a man who believes, his belief is freedom is non-negotiable. So what does it mean? Non-negotiable means it cannot be transferred. Freedom cannot be transferred. If I have got a freedom, I cannot transfer it to someone else. So, but firmly, it is firmly secured in me and cannot be adjusted. So that is called non-negotiable. I cannot adjust with something else because it's inbuilt. I have already been secured or given the rights of liberty, freedom, and I cannot give away my freedom to any other person. So that's it says Satyarthi is on a Herculean mission. So what is a Herculean mission? That is a mission impossible. So it is mission impossible, meaning a great Herculean task means a very great task to help children in need. So let's move to the next lines. Kailash Satyarthi was born as Kailash Sharma on 11th January 1954 in Vidisha, a small town in Madhya Pradesh. His father was a police constable, and his mother, though uneducated, was a very idealistic and helpful lady. So, Kailash Sharma was born in Vidisha, small town in Madhya Pradesh. But then he changed his title. Why? So that he is not recognized as a particular race or particular caste or whatever. So his father was a constable and his mother was not educated at all, but was a very idealistic and helpful lady, and who made a huge impression on the mind of young Kailash. And she was the one who made the most good or best impressions on the mind of this young boy when he was young. He was brought up in a neighborhood where Hindus and Muslims coexisted peacefully. So Kailash was brought up in a neighborhood, an atmosphere where both Hindus and Muslims, they lived harmoniously. At a very young age, Kailash learnt Urdu from a Maulvi at a nearby mosque even before he learnt English and Hindi. So he learnt Urdu first. Before even he learnt English and Hindi, he learnt Urdu. So let's go on to the next line. Uh, at an impressionable age, Kailash noticed discrimination in society and was deeply upset. So during his early school days, he would notice a young child, the son of a cobbler, waiting outside the school, watching school children walk by. So when he was small, his what happened? His first encounter, he noticed that there was a lot of discrimination at a very young age. He understood about discrimination, that is the prejudice or the unjust treatment of people according to race, racism, and all that. So he saw this, he understood it, and slowly he started feeling sad about it. So during his early school days, he would notice a young child, the son of a cobbler. A cobbler is a shoemaker, waiting outside the school, watching school children walk by. So there was this cobbler's child always watching children walk up to school. This made Kailash question why the child was not studying in the school. So Kailash wanted to know why this child, this cobbler's son, is not allowed to come in. He set out looking for an answer and he wanted to know why this is happening. He felt sad for the boy. His first encounter was with his schoolmaster, who told him that children of poor people were born to work because they couldn't afford an education. So his school principal told him that children of low caste or children of poor background, they could not study because they are meant to do hard labor. Uh, the the inequality rattled young Kailash and he posed the same question to his principal. So he felt sad about this it moved him. Rattled means the word over here. It moved him so much that he asked post meaning asked the same question to his principal, his family, his parents, even to the cobbler. He asked everyone, but got the same response. The thought of lost childhood and inequality left a lasting impression on the young mind, which sowed the seeds of the Bachpan Bachao Andolan. So, all this made him understand the difference, the unfair treatment meted out to a lot of people. So, the thought of lost childhood and inequality left a big impression on the mind of Kailash Satyarthi, who now was along with his wife, so had started to work for the deprived children. So he started working among the deprived children with his new movement that he had started, Bachpan Bachao Andolan. So the name he gave to the movement was Bachpan Bachao Andolan. So children, today we end our study till page 149, and I have shared with you a video on this. Rest in the next video. Thank you.